Hello, everyone. Well, you're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. No, this isn't a picture. This is actually me being frozen in the game by a wonderful group of people who totally aren't sore losers at all. But before we get to that, I want to walk you through my journey of my delightful day of sunshine. Let's get started. Now you may be asking yourselves, Apache, how did this happen? Well, for the past 3 or 4 days before this happened, I've been trying to get on Red Dead. And most of the time it would lag me out, it wouldn't work. But this time I did a little dance around the Xbox and I got it to work. I finally got it to work. I'm like, yes, I finally get to play. So I log into a gang match and really quickly this guy Brick Sons messages me to do a 2v2. Now there was another 666 guy in there, but I don't know everyone in the clan. We're not super close. I know some of the members, but I don't know everybody. And I tried to get this other guy to join me, but he didn't. He wanted to do Netflix and chill. Literally, he was literally doing Netflix. So I joined this lobby that this guy Brick Sons invited me to. And from there, things got a little bit fishy. Now, because I couldn't get the other 666 guy to come, this guy, Brick Son, asks me to 1v1 him. And I say sure, because most times I'll say yes to 1v1. Who cares? It's really not a big deal. But like I said, the lobby was fishy. And here's how it was fishy. I actually recorded this, because I guess these idiots forgot that Xbox has a DVR. So I recorded this guy Frost Dragon literally punching me from a distance, and I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm a little bit weirded out, but maybe he's like one of the good modders, quote unquote, that they say that there are, that he wouldn't impact the game, he wouldn't impact a 1v1, he wouldn't impact a competition. But no, I was mistaken. And right there, when I first saw that, I literally should have just exited the lobby right there, because it would not have been worth my time. But due to my competitive nature and me not wanting to deny a challenge, I said, sure, let's do it. And real quick, before we continue with this story, I don't know I've never run into these guys before, but I do know that one of them, Kavoa, Krakatoa, Kovo, whatever the hell your name is, I know that is one of the other accounts for iCowboyW. Now, iCowboyW, I've seen a couple of your videos. You make a video saying, oh, well, me and Demonic, we want respect. We're the young guns in an old game. It's a new era. It's our era. Well, if you want respect from OGs like me, this isn't the way to do it. You don't want to be caught in a crowd with these type of guys who like to go around doing sketchy shit. But whatever. You could sit back down. I'm done with you. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so, and I also recorded the last half of the 1v1. Because like I said, during this whole thing, it just felt sketchy. Something didn't feel right. So anyway, so let's watch this clip together, and I will show you what happened. So as you can see, I had a sizable lead. I believe it was, let's see if I do the math right. I think I had 13 kills? It was like 13 to 6 or 7. I was ahead by like 5 or 6 kills. But that's when I noticed that things started to get a little bit laggy. Which it wasn't laggy for the first half of the match, but whatever. Anyway, let's continue. Now during the match, they were sending me messages saying roll, and I said, well, I am rolling, so what the hell are you talking about? But as you can see, he gets me there. He's not pushing A at all here, which is against the rules, but whatever. Somehow he shoots me through the outhouse. So I'm ahead by 4 now. Not really being able to shoot at him. Now, I may have been poking out, but it kind of looks like he shot me through the building. Okay, so it's getting a little bit higher now. Shoots me mid-roll. Okay. A little bit of bob and weave, and then I hit him again. Okay, first shot. Now, I don't know if he poked out more on purpose so I would shoot him instead of the guy, but... Now right there you saw that another bullet came out after he did that, right? Here, let's pause that real quick. So you see that another bullet came out right after he shot me, right? So right there, that's either Deadeye or Rapid Fire, both of which is against 1v1 rolls. But let's continue. So now I'm ahead by 1 kill. Okay, get him again. See right there, I just spun right there. Now, like I said, I don't spin all the time, but every now and then I'll do it, but I mainly play old school style. Right there, he shoots me through the fence a couple times. It's a little bit sketchy. Maybe a headshot that didn't count, and then he pops up again, so that I would shoot him instead of the guy.
Time is running out.
So right now we're tied. Nice, hit him right there. He spawns again. And I believe that that's the final kill right here. Oh, and then Frost Dragon kills me. And you notice he kills me while he's running in place. That's totally not sketchy at all, right? Totally legit, I'm sure. Even though the match wasn't completely over yet, but whatever.
Victory is yours.
Okay, and so that's what happened during the match. So, okay, so these messages happened after the match. So after the match, he's saying, or he said, I told him good game, because that's what a mature person does. Whether I would have won or lost, I would have said good game, because I'm not a little kid who has to stamp my feet like I didn't get a toy and a Happy Meal like these kids do here. So I told him good game. He said roll, rematch. Again, he says roll, but he doesn't specify what he means. And I say okay, and then he says spin. And I said I mainly play old school style. I spin every now and then, but I just mostly turn. And he says bob and weave unfair. How is it unfair? If you knew anything about the game, you would know that the 360 is actually a better move than the bob and weave. I've bobbed and weave against, and partly 360 against other people who 360 all the time, and they were able to beat me. So how is it unfair when there's other people that can get around it? Okay, so that's what Rick's son said. But his buddy, the legit guy ever who punched me from a distance from the lobby, he chimes in and says, roll first. No bob and weave. I watched your movement. And I said, I do roll. And you can bob and weave too. I've done many 1v1s over the years and there's been no rule against it. And he says, there's always been a rule against it. It spins, not free roll. Now rematch Wolf, he's waiting. Now, I never said I played free roam and just because I don't spin, that means I automatically play free roam. I'm gonna tell you guys right now why I don't spin that as much as other people do. Especially when it comes to gang matches, it's not really as practical, because it doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of practical if you're coming up on one-on-one situations, but in a gang match, it doesn't do you any good to spin around when other people can kill you from other angles, and you can get dead-eyed, you can get dynamite thrown at you, 2 or 3 people spawn and kill you, and that's it. And it's just kind of silly that, oh, you have to spin. Okay, it's so silly. It's like playing a game of basketball. And I know I use basketball a lot, but I use it a lot because I used to play basketball. It's like playing a 1v1 game of basketball. You play against this dude. You beat him. And then after the game, he says, oh, you weren't supposed to use crossovers and you weren't supposed to shoot the ball. You were only supposed to do layups. Well, you should have told me that before the game started, and if you need a certain set of circumstances and rules to help you win, then how good really are you? I mean, do I do that? I've never done that. Should I host 1v1s and say, oh, you can't spin, there's no dead eye for headshots, no camping, you have to press A the whole time? Well, yeah, obviously that benefits me because that's how I play, but I don't do that. I let people play how they want. If they're gonna spin, I let them spin. If they're gonna bob and weave, I let them bob and weave. That's what you have to do, is you have to adapt. Not everyone's gonna play how you want them to play. And then you can't stamp your feet and throw your little sissy tantrums just because someone doesn't play the way you want them to play. And I guess I could understand its use in a 1v1, but I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. If you win a 1v1, it doesn't impact your life. If you lose a 1v1, it doesn't impact your life. In the grand scheme of things, 1v1s don't really matter. Okay, so you could take that little secret home with you. But yeah, anyway, so that's why I spin, like I said, I spin every now and then, but I don't spin all the time. And so I said, in reply to that, I said, no, there hasn't. I've 1v1 people from a variety of clans. I've 1v1 people from ADM, from 187, from SOS, from LGN, from NBK, from GB, who else? WTO. I've 1v1'd other non-clan players. And these guys are the first ones to bring up, oh, bob and weave, you can't bob and weave. Which is like, okay, whatever. Even though it was never rolled before, but suddenly you want to make up the rule after the match. You don't want to tell me before the match. Now, if you told me before the match, then I could be like, okay, I'll try to spin more. But since you didn't tell me anything before, I thought I could just do whatever I wanted. But apparently they like to make little rules for themselves. But in response to that, he said, you're clueless for a spinner. I'll literally ask the top 3 spinners left in the game, and they'll say no bob and weave. So obviously you're clueless, Mr. Frost Dragon, because you didn't read what I just said. I said I mainly play old school style. And the reason he didn't even acknowledge that, because he doesn't know what old school style is. He's only been playing since 2012 and 2013. Most of these guys are. All they know is spinning. They grew up watching spinning on Saturday mornings, eating their Captain Crunch, watching Lord videos, and they think that that's all Red Dead is. It's spinning. No, there's many facets to it. There's also, like I said, the half turns. There's the counter rolling. There's certain timing things that you can do to counter somebody else. There's way more facets to it than just spinning. And now let me give you guys a little mini Red Dead history lesson. I know that there's probably not a lot of people who are around from back then that still play, or maybe people were around but they've forgotten. But from, I would say, 2010 to 2012, people weren't spinning. They would either do the half turns, they would do counter rolls, and they would do other things to avoid getting shot right away. Now, the spinning first started in 2012, I would say, but I don't think it became really mainstream, quote unquote, like a lot of people were doing it until I would say maybe like mid to late 2013 or early 2014. I would say that's when it became more mainstream or whatever to spin. And that's just my point entirely. Now, as like we're seeing here with this gang match from Come At Me Bra, this is from, I believe, 2011 or 2012, and I know they're gonna say, oh, it's a gang match, it doesn't prove anything. But I'm just illustrating the point that back then, do you see people spinning in this game? No, because we didn't play like that back then. Spinning became a thing later on, and so people who started playing later on, that's all they know was spinning. So I just want to illustrate that you know, there was a time when people didn't spin, and if you want to spin, that's fine. That's, you know, good for you. If that's what works for you, great. And I'm not saying I don't spin at all. Like I said, I spin a little bit, but I don't constantly sit there spinning like a ballerina. That's just not me. But if you want to do it, good on you. If it works for you, good on you. But I'm just showing the fact that it wasn't always spinning. And since these guys, you know, they say, oh, I could ask the top 3 spinners. Well, I could ask some top players. I could ask Chavista, I could ask Bra, I could ask some other old Lord members. I could ask some old ADM members if I could find them. I'm trying to think of some other old players, but I mean, if you could ask any of those players, and also I've 1v1'd against what, at least 2 or 3 lords, and they've never brought it up. And apparently they're the authority, quote unquote, in RDR, right? They've never brought it up to me. So I don't know what the hell these guys are talking about, but whatever. But anyway, so I'm not a spinner. It's such a cringy new school term. But anyway, and I never said I was a spinner. I spin every now and then, but I play old school style. And another thing, he says, oh, I'll ask the top 3 spinners left in the game. So is there an overriding authority? Is there a Jedi Council for Red Dead that determines the rules? Even though I would you want to bet if he listed those people, I probably played longer than most of those people. But they suddenly get to dictate the rules? Why? What gives them such authority to dictate the rules? But whatever. And like I said, I told him the standard 1v1 rules, as I stated earlier. And I said, if you had any other conditions, you should have said it before and not complain after. Because I've had 1v1s where they're like, oh, I'm trying to think, like, oh, no bob and weave, or oh, no spin, no RB. You know, I've had people lay out the conditions before, and then I agree to it, and then we do the match. And after this reply, while I'm messaging him back, he decides to get a little bit clever. He didn't think I recorded him, and he didn't think I saw it. But what he did was, while I was messaging him, he must have gotten my IP address from me messaging him, and he froze me. As you guys can see here, he was a distance away from me with the knife. He slashed me once, and my entire console was frozen, and it was laggy. So I was able to quit the game, but my console was still laggy. And in my final message to him, I said, yes, it is. By the way, nice freeze, dude. I saw what you did. You knifed me from a distance, and I was frozen in the game, and now my console is acting slow. Thanks. And he didn't reply to that message because he knows what the fuck he did. Now, I'll give it to Cowboy. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He left. He wasn't in the lobby when that happened. But he knows that he has to know that this guy mods in the game. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what a real modder is. Okay? Someone who's good at the game isn't a modder. Just because they're good at gang matches isn't a modder. This guy is a modder right here. And I have something called evidence. But anyway, so that totally validates his point, right? So I should listen, first of all, I should listen to a guy who's only been playing since 2012 to 2013. And I should listen to a modder. And I should listen to, you know, someone who maybe was helping their friend in the last half of it and their friend still lost. But he's totally valid, and I should totally listen to what he's saying, right? And even the last message that Brickson sent was, oh, well, we could do it again, but I'll bob and weave. No, dude, screw it. It's already over. You already wasted my time. You're already over here playing games, and you're over here. I mean, obviously, it's a game, but like you're doing shit that's out of the rules of the game. You're freezing people. Maybe he didn't like Switch, but if he was able to freeze me, how can I assume that he didn't help his friend a little bit by lagging things up for me? Or maybe Cowboy didn't help out a little bit from peeking up the roof, and so I would shoot up at him instead of his friend. But that's not the cherry on top, folks. So do you remember like in Star Wars where Obi-Wan says, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can imagine? Well, that's what happened. So because of this gentleman, Mr. Frost here, and I know why you named yourself Frost, because you like to freeze people, I got better internet, so that means I'm going to be quicker killing people. And going forward, I'm not going to use the name Apache on Red Dead. Not only because of this situation, but also because of other situations where I've been getting a lot of heat for no reason, rhyme or reason, while playing this game. And I think that it's going to be a little bit better. Now, before you guys celebrate, before all the crybabies celebrate that Apache's, not going to be on Red Dead Days done. No, I never said that. I never said that. I'll be playing under a different name, but you guys won't know what the name is. So you guys can wonder and guess all you want what the name is. Is that Apache? Is that Apache? No, you're not going to know. I could be anybody. And I encourage anybody, if you're bored on a Sunday rainy afternoon, you could be Apache. You could use the name Apache on Red Dead and see what it's like to get nonsense all the time and to be entertained by it. I highly encourage it. I mean, guys, if Dorsal Space can have his own little clones, why can't I? So, but anyway, so that's it. So that's why I made this video, to tell you guys of a very interesting situation, just to show you some of the kind of people that are in this community who want all this respect and want all this stuff from old players, but you do this kind of stuff and how do you think that's gonna go? But if these guys come up to you and they want to 1v1 you, don't even bother. Avoid them like the plague. Let them do their own 1v1s and circle jerk each other while the rest of us can play the game. But anyway, and watch out for this guy, Frost Dragon. He's a modder. I've proved it. I have 2 clips of him modding right there. And just watch out for this guy. Do not message him. He might freeze you or he might do some other crap. So now we can move forward with, regular gameplay and other stuff. And no more of this nonsense. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.